All right. Good morning and happy Thursday. We're here with WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network Radio, TV, and Podcast, #1 Internet Singles Talk Network. Your Health Vibes with Elana. And I'm, what do you know, your host, Elana, with your Health Vibes with Elana. Today, my journey is to raise your heart, body, and soul vibes so that you can bring it to the next level and transform your life today. And today, we have the one, the only, Paige Engle. Woo! And today, our show is Own the Spotlight. Paige Engle, influence your formula. Come on down. Woo!
Hey, Elena. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on the show today. I so appreciate it. You know, I love your energy. I love everything about you. So I'm happy to be here and sharing some time with you this morning.
I love that you're here. It makes my heart so happy. We could talk everybody's ears off for hours. So I'm so glad you get to show up. The world gets to see who you are. And thank you for being here. It's such an honor. So, Paige.
Yeah.
Can you tell the world a little bit about you? Because I love you and I want the world to know who you are.
Yeah, I love you too. I love you back. And I love all your messages that you send me through. Like every other week, I get a wonderful message from Elena. Yeah, I would love to do that. So I am Paige Engle. My friends call me Paige. So feel free to do that. I am an OBM, which is an online business manager, and I own a virtual assistant agency. And we do marketing support for business owners, entrepreneurs, and content creators and influencers. I'll use the little air quotes for that for those of you who are listening and not seeing the video podcast version. I've had a 30-year plus career as a communications and marketing director for various companies and organizations throughout the US and abroad. I am a complete full Francophile, which means that I love all things French and I speak French fluently and I guide small tours to Paris. So Paris by Paige is one of my signature businesses that I also have where I lead small tours around France and around Europe. So I do that for fun on the side. We have a great time doing that, discovering all things French, castles, historical, those types of trips. And I also feel like my specialty is straight talk, being real. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk to you about today. Being real, making sure that my clients and my friends are able to understand systems, understand like a system and support them with admin and help them monetize. So those are the three things that are to my core. If it doesn't fall into share, showcasing, and support, I'm not for it. So
I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I love how many things that you do. And what I love so much about you is how you show up. You're real, you're raw, you tell it how it is, and there's no BS. And you're so authentic. That's what I love, is that you show up with who you are, real, online and offline. You know what you're getting, you know your support, and you know who you are, and you know what you're good at, and you know what lane you want to stay in. So, Paige, can you maybe explain a little bit? Was this something that you've always loved? I mean, from Paris to, learn to travel. Was it something that you had a memory, or can you share a story? What really was, pushed you to want to do something like this?
Yeah, so thank you for that as well, because I think it is important to be authentic all the time. Some people love it, some people hate it, but that's okay, right? Some people like coffee, some people like tea. I'm all right with
We're
that.
not everybody's cup of tea, and that is okay.
And that is okay, because it all comes, the way that I operate and move in my life all comes from intention and is heart-based. So there's never any malice involved. And I think that people who know me understand that. And I try to make sure that I convey that all the time and with all the actions that I take, and the impacts that I make in different communities. So there's that. As far as the whole fascination and love with travel and France and all that kind of stuff, I have to credit my mother. We recently lost her, but she was the visionary behind it. I started speaking French when I was 5. I had a private tutor because I'm old enough to remember when foreign language was not in school, and I didn't get it until high school. But I had a private tutor all throughout primary school. And when I entered high school, I entered French 3 as a freshman, and it only went to French 4.
What?
So I then tested on the national French test and placed 17th in the nation for my language aptitude. And then I knew it was a gift. So I continued on in college, and I wanted to study abroad, but my college didn't have a study abroad program. They only had a program at Oxford in England. And so I applied to the Sorbonne, and I got in, and I wasn't going to go. And my mom's like, you literally just got into the Harvard of Europe. You're going. So I went and completely transformed my life. And I have been going back every single year, except the year that the panorama happened, that they didn't let me in. Every single year, sharing my language ability and my knowledge of France and Paris in particular with other people. So it has just been an ongoing thread throughout my life. And I just love to share it with everyone. Travel as a whole. I just realized there was something on TikTok about all the places that you've traveled to in the United States. And I've just realized the only place I haven't traveled to is Alaska. I've been to every other state in the United States except for Alaska. So now that means I got to plan a trip to Alaska so I could check that off my list. But I have been to 34 different countries around the world. So I feel truly blessed to have done that.
What an amazing experience. Thank you so much for sharing that. And let's go to Alaska on a cruise.
Yeah, let's do it, girl. Let's do it.
Already. I've never been to Alaska either. So
it's time. I feel like it's time. In the summertime. In the summertime.
Yes. Oh, definitely in the summertime. And what I love too, you're such an amazing influencer. You just recently had me on your Amazon show. So I would love for you to share that, because after that, I got so many people asking, like, who is Paige? Like, what is she doing? Like, I want to hear from her. So I got so much feedback, and I was like, I can't really explain it myself. So let's set you up with her. So maybe you can explain what you're doing with that, because that was just so fun.
Oh my gosh, it was so awesome having you on my Amazon live show. So for those of you who don't know, Amazon, you probably have heard of Amazon, and you probably heard of Amazon associates and Amazon influencers. So there's a couple different levels and ways that you can monetize with Amazon. And one of the ways that I monetize my influence and my presence and continuing to build that online Google juice and online presence is through my association with Amazon as an Amazon influencer. And I actually have a live show on Amazon. And it's essentially, you can watch it on your television set, you can watch it on Roku, you can watch it on a Fire Stick, you can watch it online, all the things. But essentially, it is a platform and an outlet for you to highlight Amazon products. And then for me, I use my show to showcase some of the cool people that I have in my life and some of the Amazon products that they use. So I had Elana on, and we were talking about some health and wellness and some fitness products, as well as some books. I'm a huge reader, avid bibliophile as well. And so we were able to do that. And that was so much fun. So yeah, it's just another way to get on new platforms, build new audiences. So if anyone is an Amazon shopper, make sure you go over and follow me on Amazon. You can just look for my name. I'm pretty sure it'll be in the show notes or something. We can leave a link. But yeah, I would love for you to follow me, and then you'll be able to go back and see Elana's previous live stream, but then get a notification when I go live again with more amazing and dynamic people.
Which it really is. And I love that you showcase and that you want to promote others. And I think in this world, you know, sometimes people can be self-reduced. You're just so giving. And that's what I love. Like, you support people just the way, and to show up. And I think that's such a beautiful thing in the world right now. There's so much going on. And to be able to support and show up for others, I really love that about you, because you show up, you support, and you guide someone to really be their true self. So I love that
Yeah.
about you.
No, I so appreciate that. And I also feel like I know that when I walk in a room, I shine. So everybody else needs to shine too. You know what I mean? Like, I feel, there's that saying that a rising tide lifts all boats. If I have information that I can share with you to help you, or, I'm going to tell it to you. So that's one of the things I think that people really appreciate about me, is that I'm a resource for them, right? They're
Yeah.
like, oh, should I use this or that? This software, that software, that, travel cube, or this suitcase, or whatever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, they'll come to me because they know I'm going to give them the real deal. And I'm also an early adopter to a lot of these things. And I'm not scared of technology. I'm not scared of trying new things, not drugs, but new things. But they come to me because they know I'm going to tell them, yes, this is worth it, or no, this isn't the right fit for you, and steer them in the right direction to say, this is what might work better for your particular situation. And I love that people come to me for that. So
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because I think so many times when you come to others, you want to trust them, and you're definitely so trustworthy. So first of all, that's like the number one thing. And I love exactly, you will tell someone, you aren't going to make someone believe like, oh yeah, just to do it because you want something from it. You want to help. And that's what I love. So speaking of that, behind the brands, there's a secret to success. Do you have any nuggets or some things that you can share with us that you would love to, let others know?
Yeah, I would say when you are crafting your next move, right? We're all, people are always talking about playing chess, and what that next move, you need to be like 3 or 4 steps ahead, and all the things. I think it's important for people to, one, have self-awareness about what their brand or their personal brand is saying, like, to the outside world. Because if you aren't crafting your personal brand, somebody else is crafting it for you. And it may not be the image that you want to have out, into the internet, into the interweb, right? So there's that. So that's number one, self-awareness. Number two would be making sure that you're on the right platform that's going to shine for you, right? If you hate video, don't get on video. We do not want to see you looking crazy like a deer in headlights. But perhaps you love being on a podcast, right? Like, you're a natural talker, a natural nurturer.
Like
Start
us.
a podcast, right? Exactly. Start a podcast. Or you're fantastic with writing. Like, you can make words sing and jump off a paper. Start a blog, or do something, or a paid newsletter or something, right? But make sure you're on the right platform that's going to give you the ability to shine the best. And then lastly, I would say, make sure, if you are in the entrepreneur space, or even if you are working a 9 to 5 and in the corporate space, or even nonprofit, make sure you're doing something that you like, that's going to generate income. Nobody's doing this just for fun. We all have to eat. And we all have responsibilities and bills to pay. Make sure you're doing something that's going to generate income, and it's going to move the needle for you the most.
I love that. And so when we're talking about generating income, is there a few things that maybe you could tell, or some things that, that people think, you want to give away for free, or you want this, and it's what you said, we got to survive. And I know sometimes I do that too, a little lesson of like, I want to help, I want to share that information, but, I do need to eat as well, and showing up for that way. So how, is there anything that you can recommend or do, when you're putting yourself out there and you want to do more, any other fun facts that you could share with us?
Yeah, I think what's really inherent for a lot of people is that they don't want to come across as greedy or boastful, or just in it for the money. But you know what? Like I said, we got to eat. Mama's got light bills. I got a teenage son who's just starting to drive, so my insurance is going, you know what I mean? So it's like, we all have these like basic needs that we need to fill. And when it comes to generating income, it's okay to give away some information for free, but put a cap on it, right? Like, if you know that you can only do 5, complimentary consults in a year, then that is your number. And when you reach that number, that's it. I'm so sorry. I've already spoken for free for 5 times this year. Everything else from this point on is paid. If you indeed do come up with a budget, I would love to revisit this conversation with you. I mean, it's about having those difficult conversations for some people, not difficult for me. But for
Love
some
that.
people, do you know what I mean? Having those
Yes.
conversations. I also think that when you're generating income, you really got to think about your money story, right?
Mhm.
One of the things that I always talk with my clients about, like let's say you offer something for $100 and you're just like, oh my God, $100 is a lot. I don't know how I feel about that, and then, or someone else says, oh my God, that should be $25, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
My recommendation to my clients when I'm working with them, especially when it comes to increasing prices, obviously you have to know what's going on in the market,
Yes.
and what the market can sustain. But what I would say is do it like someone said 25, you said 100, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you do it 5 times at
Mhm.
$45 or $50 to have a proof of concept? And if 5
Right.
people do it for $50, bump it up to 75, do
Yeah.
another 5 people, and then bump it up to the 100 that you really originally wanted to, because then that gives you more confidence about your worth and the worth of your
Mhm.
services or your product that you're offering. But you may need to stair step in order to
Right.
get there.
Yes, I totally agree. Now, do you have any recommendations? In this world, everybody wants to be influenced, this, that. Do you have any suggestions maybe for people who are really kind of struggling and not necessarily believing in themselves? I love you because you're so good with communities. They're so good about how you make someone feel. Do you have any
Mhm.
suggestions when, we're so scared or we live in this fear? I don't want to be on TV or I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
What can you give some, advice on just people showing up for themselves and really doing something?
Well, that's a wonderful question,
Yeah.
Elena. And
Sorry to
it's
just throw it at you. There's so many things I just love about you that I would love for you to
I
share.
know. So here's the thing. It's wonderful because of the fact that I don't have the right answer to that question. When someone has a question like that, I usually defer them to someone like yourself, right? Like I
Mhm.
have quality, amazing women coaches, strategists in my Rolodex that I can send someone to help with the health, the confidence, the mindset, right? So
Yeah.
that's why it's important for me to showcase all of these other voices and stories so that we can get them the right fit, because I'm not the right fit for that particular question.
Yeah.
um because I don't struggle with that. Like I don't know what that is like, and I don't want to come off as harsh or indifferent or whatever. But that's where it's so important to build your community, to build your network, so that you can refer people to the right people that are going to help them move the needle the fastest.
I love that. And that's what is even like just so great about you is to share that is I think so many times we want to show up for others and we don't want to let them down or we don't want to admit like, you know what? I don't know that answer or there's
Yep.
someone better. So thank you for that and showing because I think so many times exactly like community is so big for me. And that's what I love. And if I don't know something, then I'm like, you know what? You go to Paige or like, oh, you go to this person. And I think that's what is a community is showing up for each other, good, bad, or different. Or, if you have someone, it's not taking someone, it's showing up for them as well. And that's what I really like. So talking about communities, do you have some groups or communities that you like to share or that have really made an influence on your life of what really stood out for community for you?
Yeah, we met through a women's community called Polka Dot Powerhouse, which inspires women throughout the world um,
Yes.
to have community and to collaborate and all of those things. So there are international communities that you can join. I also am a part of a local community that's about impact and philanthropy in my own
Ooh.
backyard. I was doing all of these things internationally, but then I thought, what am I doing in my own backyard? So I'm a part of a community called Professional Dimensions here in town, which is basically entrepreneurs and C-suite women, VPs and above, that we make an impact. I mean, one of the things that we are doing right now is we make a commitment, a 2-year commitment to a local organization that, of course, presents and we all vote and all that kind of
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but it is like right now we're working with the Sherman Phoenix Foundation, and they are working on some women entrepreneurship programs and teaching them how to write a business plan and get funding and get certified, all the things. And our commitment is $100,000. So we give them $50,000 a year. So this isn't lip service. This
Yeah.
is actually, finding resources for people that need it and all the things. Like the previous group that we helped was called the Niamani House. And it was a group it was a program, an educational and housing program for women and children who had been in abusive situations. Okay. And so what it did was that they owned property in town. I want to say 2 or 3, like 4plexes. And so they would move these women to safe areas where them and their children would feel safe. They would give them educational training if they needed, job training if they needed, and they would purchase like everything you need to have in a house, right? From linens to your kitchens, all the things, appliances, all the things. And so once someone, usually it took about 18 months to get through the program, to get back on your feet.
Yeah.
And then once someone graduated from the program, this is what made it happen for me. This is what turned the key for me, and about the impact piece that I appreciated was once someone finished the program, they got to take all of those things with them.
What?
Like everything in the home, all the clothes, everything, appliances, all that stuff. So they did not have to start over, because what happens is a lot of times you're in the program, you have all these resources, and then when you're done, it's just like hands are washed. I have to start over. And then you can fall back into old habits or old community, all the things.
Yeah. All those things.
And so it gave them that extra leg up that they didn't have to start over. They could just continue with the progression that they were already making. And so those are the kinds of organizations, depending on what you're interested in. It could be a church organization. It could be a charity. It's just important to make sure that you congregate with like-minded folks who are on the same mission as you.
I totally agree with that. Yeah. I love to volunteer and give back. And, I'm on a board, and I work for a nonprofit called the Heart of Ida, and it's a nonprofit for underprivileged seniors. And, and so we give back, to help from dog walking to food to, just a friendly phone call. And I think exactly finding like-minded people showing up the same, then you can find your tribe and find that, but it feels good to be able to give back as well. And that's what I love about you, is that you show up for others, you give back to others in all of that, So thank you for all that you do. So also I just wanted to share, do you have any programs, or is there can you share how people can work with you, what they get to do when certain, anything you want to plug out for us of what you're doing?
No, I appreciate that opportunity. I would say if you are interested, if you have a business or you're a content creator and you just don't know how to get everything together as far as your automation, as far as systems, as far as monetizing, I'd love to have a chat with you. You can always go to pageengle.com and grab a time on my calendar for, a quick call to see if we'd be a good fit, or if I can refer you to someone else, because like I said, my Rolodex is big. I would love to do that. Or if you're interested in going on any of the trips that I have planned for the next couple of years, in 2025, we'll be doing a trip to Sicily, which is on my website. And then in 2026, we'll be doing a Paris and castle tour in France. So if anyone is interested in that.
Can you tell a little bit more about the castle tour? That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. We visit a few of the castles, about 2.5, 3 hours outside of Paris. And, we visit those and do all sorts of fun things in the countryside. But if anyone is interested in support and help and wanting to know the best way to strategize for their business, feel free to hit me up. As an online business manager, that is what my special sauce is I will tell you, you should be doing this, or no, you may want to think about something else. People come to me for that all the time. And of course, just follow me online, right? Follow me. I'm everywhere. I mean, I'm not as big on TikTok, but I am there, but I'm not as big. But my main platforms are Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and, of course, YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, just follow me, join my community, join my email list. You'll find out what we're doing and all the cool people that we're meeting. And of course, follow me on Amazon.
Yes, follow her on Amazon. You'll love that show, and just great referrals of so many great products because of everybody she has on, and she has her big Rolodex. So it's not just one type of thing. So thank you for that. So Paige, we're about to end. Is there any quotes? Is there anything that you would like to end us with? A special quote, a special thing, a special message? You're already just wonderful as it is, and grateful that you're on here. But what do you have to say as your final thought?
So my final thing is, first of all, be you and don't be afraid to be you. That's like my one big tip. My second tip or action item that I would love to leave people with is go Google yourself and make sure that it's what you want it to be.
Ooh, wow, that's a good one. I don't think I've ever really Googled myself. So that's
Google
what I'm going to be doing after this.
Or you could Google me so you can see like a good example. How about that? But
Yes,
make sure you go and
Google Paige.
Yeah, hey, Paige Engle,
Yes.
Right? But Google yourself and make sure that it's what you want to be known for.
Ooh, I love that. That's so great. Thank you so much for that. And I'm going to give a little plug. You know, the holidays, there's so much going on, and I'm going to be doing a group called Peace and Grief. So for women. And so if anybody would like to join, you can reach out. It's a safe space. It's a community to show up for, you know, there's so much going on with grief. It could be loss of a job, loss of a someone, loss of a pet, you know, loss of a relationship. There's so much that we are grieving, and just be kind and showing up for each other. So I'm going to be offering that special healing circle December 11th, if anybody would like to join that. So in conclusion, I just wanted to thank you for being here. Everybody, please reach out to her. She's amazing. I'm Elena of Your Health Vibes with Elena show. And thank you guys for being here. And we will see you again in a week, or not this week, but the week after. I love you all, and we are WGSN-DB, going solo network, radio, TV, and podcast, #1 internet singles talk network. And today I challenge you to go pick up the phone, call someone that you haven't talked to in a long time, maybe send a message. You know, I love to give out messages. That's one of my favorite things. But one of the #1 things is be kind. We all need it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being present. I love you, Paige, and have a beautiful rest of your day, everybody. Bye for now.
Take care, everyone.